did that. It wasn't even there. Here it is. Pew. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hey, Justina. What's up? What's up? I'm gonna have to buy more of this soon. Oh well. Oh well. Hey, good morning. I'm trying to figure out which coffee I want. I'm good, Justina. How are you? Yeah, I'll just go with this one. We'll just go with this one. It's fine. What's everyone drinking this morning? Who's got their coffee? Got tea? What you got? What you got? What's everyone drinking this morning? Coffee? Nice, nice. Nice, nice. I'm good, Alyssa. How are you? Just making my coffee like you do. Cinnamon latte and flavored water. That sounds legit. That sounds legit. I use the same sugar-free creamer. Yes, Dalton, what's up, friend? This is our early morning non-live chill time where we read and chat and talk about coffee and, nope, that was wrong. Hey, Anya. Hey, Rochelle. What, you guys? You guys? Mrs. Doyle in the house. You guys, Rochelle is here. What up, Rochelle? She made it. Oh man, that smells so good. That coffee smells so good. Chef's kiss. Chef's freaking kiss. Good morning, good morning. We've danced all night through. Good morning, my darling, to you. Oh, it sounds like my voice is coming back, right? That sounded like almost like me, right? Anyone who knows what I actually sound like, did that sound kind of like me? That was kind of normal, right? Does that mean that I almost have my voice back? Do I have a voice again? Yay! It was my voice. It sounded almost normal. Goodbye, Ursula. You can't have it. What? Yes! That's my excited dance for almost having my full voice back. It's not fully there, but it's almost. Oh, man. Yeah. And a perfect pour. Voice back and a perfect pour in one day. You think you found a dream cast for Lena? Nice. Nice. Quitcha! Now I'm excited. You forgot her name. Well, that's not going to help us much, is it? What's everyone doing today for Wednesday, middle of the week? Anyone have any interesting plans for today? You have her on TikTok? Okay. All right. Anyone have any interesting plans for today? Want to tell me about before we start reading? Oh. Anybody? Anybody? All right, bye, Alyssa. See you later. I'm working on a sale of my business. What kind of business do you have? I will also be working all day as well. But before I go to work, I have to take Zoe to dance class first this morning. That will be the first thing I do. I will take Zoe to dance class, and then I will work all day. Studying for your final. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Do you know what I did this morning, you guys? You guys are going to be so proud of me, I think. I put a moisturizer on my face. I did that. You're a pure romance partner. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, I have to take her to dance, and then I will make slime. And you're still in Disney? Lucky ducky. Lucky ducky. Wait, do you not wear sunscreen? I do not wear sunscreen unless I am going to the beach. I wear sunscreen when I go to the beach, if I remember to bring it. It is 7:06. Women need to wear sunscreen every day. Well, this moisturizer has sunscreen in it, so, you know, isn't that fantastic for us? Because I put on sunscreen this morning, apparently. Skin cancer doesn't care about your location. You're probably right, but you know what skin cancer does care about? My genetics. My genetics are not prone to skin cancer because I hate to tell you this, Shelly, but I am a brown person. I know you might look at my face and you might say, wow, this is the conundrum that people get, like stopped up in a lot of times. They look at someone like me and they're like, wow, that person looks like they're super white. I am not fully white. I don't burn or anything. Brown people can still get cancer. I know, but it's really unlikely. My brother and sister's dad got skin cancer a lot, but he is also translucent, or was translucent, RIP. I have pretty sturdy skin. I don't know. I think that my Middle Eastern heritage will probably see me through the end without skin cancer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll bite me in the butt. I don't know the answer to that, but yeah. Why risk it when it's overall better for your skin to protect it with a sunscreen? Because my brain doesn't have enough spoons to put sunscreen on every morning. To be honest, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, Shelly, and be like, yeah, I'm going to put on sunscreen every day. I'm not. I'm not going to put on sunscreen every day. Who are we kidding? I was mesmerized that I got myself to put moisturizer on this morning. You think I got the spoons for sunscreen? No. I barely have the spoons to make sure my nephew makes it into this world healthy. I think in my entire lifetime, I could count on both hands the amount of times I've put on sunscreen actively. I really do. I think I could actually count it on my hands. I'm pale AF and I never wear sunscreen. I barely have the spoons to wake up. Right. You got to pick your battles, Shelly, and this battle is not one I'm going to give in on. I just don't have the wherewithal. I don't have it in me, It's not personal. I don't got it. I don't got it. What am I going to say? I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I found her name is Kaylee Bays. I've never heard of her. For anyone who doesn't know, we are reading Wasteland, which is the second book in the Phoenix cycle by John Doyle, and his lovely wife is in the house with us today. I know it's not personal. I just care about your health. I know. You can care about the rest of my health. I drink water. I go for runs. I exercise. I eat well. You're going to have to let my skin go. I love that I found someone who knows the spoon theory. Oh, yeah. We are a spoon-friendly household. And by household, I mean live. Everyone on, most of my followers are neurospicy, so we've all got a limited number of spoons. But I put it on my face because I got, oh, interesting, Jay, interesting. Well, I mean, it's good that you know what you need for yourself. Hey, Erin, good morning. So we are on the third day of reading Wasteland, and we're hoping that we will finish Wasteland before John returns from the rig, because he's going to hop on and discuss the book with us like the great author that he is. We're barely into it, but I'm sure, we've got a good, I don't know. Rochelle, how many days do we have until he gets back? He gets back the first week of May, right? Am I wrong about that? Anyway, we could probably do it. I don't know. We'll see. So we're on chapter 8. If anyone is behind, the recaps from the other chapters or the live rereads of the other chapters are on the video app. 3 weeks. So yeah, we can do it in 3 weeks. We can finish this book in 3 weeks, right, you guys? We can do this. Come on. We pretty much just have to read 400 pages in 3 weeks. We've done worse. We can do it. Provided that my nephew doesn't show up early. If my nephew shows up early, we cannot do it. It's like, the mice in Cinderella. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can help our Cinderella. We can make the dress so pretty. Anybody? No? Okay. So let's get started on chapter 8. And in case anyone doesn't know, are you playing with slimes? I am not. I am holding a book, so I am not playing with slimes because my hands are occupied. This book is quite heavy. It would be very difficult for me to hold it and slime at the same time. Just too heavy. Just too heavy. All right, let's get started. Chapter 8. So a hollow is worth how much? I asked Ritu for probably the 100th time. I don't know if you've been following my exploits for a while, but you may or may not remember me kind of being bummed that the future didn't have credits. Well, it turns out that they do, in a manner of speaking. From what I was given to understand by Ritu, there was still a little hard cash that was in circulation, but that hands-on money was mainly used by older nostalgic people for no apparent reason. And it was Russian currency too, not even good old American dollars and cents. We were in the room Cross had given me, which was nicer than any suite I'd ever stayed in back in my time. I told you, she said, sighing and smiling at me. 1 hollow is worth just about $5. And how do you give it to me? Ritu tapped away on her hollow tab, and in seconds mine lit up and told me that my net account was plus 25 hollows. Just like that? I asked, touching the icon and looking at my account history, which was basically blank, considering I'd only had one transaction ever. It showed the deposit was from Volvakov, 1899. When she saw my questioning glance, she said, "Is your last name a digital combination most of the time?" Ritu Volkov? She nodded. Dr. Cross made yours JJ 2012, I think. How quaint of him, I said, crossing a large carpeted living room, which had a hologram fire going in the heater made to resemble a fireplace in one corner, to the large window that looked like the one in Cross's office. Now, where is he anyway? More than likely he's poring over the data collected from your run through the city. That should be enough to last him a few days, she said, sitting on the black leather couch close to the fire. How do you like your room? Beats the Helheim out of the previous one. She nodded, but she didn't say anything for a while. Maybe it was the semi-awkward silence between us that had caused Ritu to randomly ask, "You miss her a lot, don't you?" I didn't have to wonder who she was talking about. "Yes," I answered, simply keeping my eyes on the ceiling and my fingers laced behind my head. "I listened to your recording on the glove," she told me, looking downtrodden. "I'm sorry for all that has happened to you, Jericho." "Don't sweat it," I said, leaning forward and placing my elbows on my knees. I looked at her and said, "So, what were you exactly saying yesterday about Cross being..." Ritu's mouth dropped open and began waving her arms in a shut the heck up fashion. I shut the heck up. Ritu typed out something on her holotab just before I could ask her why we were being all cloak and dagger. My own holotab flashed above my wrist. "Ritu, we cannot talk about now. I can get our tabs on a secure line by tonight, but until then, do not mention anything." To which I replied, "Wow, and instant messaging? I'm 15 again. Thanks for the lovely stroll down memory lane, dear, LOL. I saw her screen blip and she read what I'd sent. I saw her smile to herself before she began typing her response. Yeah, definitely 15 again. Ugh, worst age ever. We talked for a few minutes about my snow day before I asked, "Hey, don't take this the wrong way, but why are you here?" "I told Dr. Cross I'd get you settled in the room, make you feel comfortable, and also make sure you did not try to escape," she told me. I checked my holotab. Man, that was really coming in handy. To see what time it was. I'm going to hit the hay, I think. I walked Ritu to the door, but before she could open it, Ritu turned suddenly and hugged me. "I will contact you in an hour. Don't do anything foolish while you wait, please." I hadn't been expecting the hug, but I think it played off pretty well. After she pulled away, I informed her that Dr. Cross must have removed all the foolish brain cells while I was under because I never would do anything foolish whilst I waited for her to contact me. Good night, Ritu. Sleep well. Then she closed the door behind her. Crossing the room quickly, I entered the large bedroom and laid on the bed, closing my eyes and instantly entering ninja ghost mode. I left my body on the bed and headed for the door, deciding that I'd better take advantage of my ninja mode while it lasted. After I phased into the hallway and spent 10 minutes sticking my head through every door, I ran across to see if there were any mad scientist shenanigans going on. I began to lose faith in my venture. Most of them were empty and looked like smaller hotel rooms and not, in fact, like future torture chambers. I made it to the elevator and went to push a button, only to be reminded that I wasn't able to touch anything whilst in ninja mode. And that was also when I decided to start calling it super sneak mode instead. I mean, calling it ghost mode didn't work because I wasn't dead and I couldn't fly, which to me was a surefire sign that someone or something was a ghost. And ninja mode was out because, I couldn't touch anything. But sneaky? Oh, but it was sneaky indeed. Sighing, I glanced up at the elevator ceiling once before exiting, only to have Ritu phase through my body and hit a button. I stepped back inside quickly and we started up. I was thankful, a little puzzled, that I didn't have to go through the floor of the elevator because that would have been awkward and, quite frankly, a little scary. Ritu was humming a tune I didn't recognize as she watched the floor numbers increase. What was she doing still on my floor anyway? Had she just come back because my body wasn't picking up her secure channel phone calls? Hey, Brian. We've stopped 12 floors higher, and Ritu exited with me close behind. This floor looked a lot like the lab below the building, as everything was white and probably smelled like a cleaning supply closet. Ritu walked past a few doors before stepping into one on her right, with me still on her heels. This room looked basically like a normal room, I guess. No, really, there wasn't anything that grabbed my attention in the least. Ritu sat at a desk, hitting a few things on her holotab. A screen projected in front of her, and so did a keyboard. After typing away for a good 2 minutes with me pacing behind her, the green holo screen turned red, and she spoke. Wants to close... Brian, wait, hold on. Let me finish this chapter and then we're going to talk. This is Ritu, she said. Put back on, please. We need to talk. And that's how I found out that Ritu was a rebel spy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Brian. Roll it back for me a second here, bro. Roll it back. You're going to have to start over because I must admit it. That just came out of nowhere today. He just announced that he's going to close it today. If he closes Cinderella, then he will have nothing on Broadway. Is that true? What's the source? New York Post reported that he's fighting with the producers to close Bad Cinderella. Oh my God. That will be it's not good, but that will be his demise. If he closes Bad Cinderella before the Tonys and before he gets anything else on the books, and after what happened in London, he's done. They can't do it anymore, right? Like, am I crazy? Tell me from a business perspective, Brian. Like, I can talk from just like a, theatrical perspective, but like from a numbers game, producers want to try a marketing campaign and he just doesn't want to. It is hemorrhaging cash, but he's got the cash to hemorrhage in order to keep his name on Broadway. He knows the show's work. He knew the show wasn't working in London. Why'd they even bring it? Why'd they do it? The show wasn't working at all. I think it's a poor choice. I'm not even a fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber, but I think taking his name off of every Broadway marquee completely for the first time in all this time. No, of course, the show isn't fixable. It's just not. But I don't think he thought he could fix it. If he thought he could fix it, why didn't they do more work in the correct direction? I think he is just bitter. I think he's trying to punish everybody because he's mad that Phantom closed, because that's the one he wanted to stay. He didn't care about anything else. Wow. I think it's a poor choice. I don't even like Webber, but I still think it's a poor choice. Yeah, but that gap in time will mean that he's not the composer that's held the, you know what I mean? Because he is the Phantom. He's a little creepy. But he will lose his status as having had his name on a marquee continuously. He won't be continuous anymore. He'll have to take that out of his like bio. So if he's not on Broadway, then get rid of the rest, I guess. And Evita's not going to last. It never does. No, I know he did. But Evita never lasts. Evita's not like, oh, long-running show material. I mean, it's just not. Sorry. Like, Evita's fine, but it's not long-running show material. Because too many people don't get it. I'm just like, wow, I thought he would pour... I did too. I thought he would pour cash into it. I straight up thought that as well. Do you think he's just spiraling because Phantom closed and, unfortunately, RIP, I actually feel bad about this, that his son passed during the closing, like during the last couple of weeks? That's the first time I've ever actually felt bad for Andrew Lloyd Webber, the whole thing with his son. Do you think he's just spiraling because of it's all just too much? My guess is he's looking to make a clean break and close this chapter of his life. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, he's just like, F you all. I don't have my son. I don't have the Phantom. I have nothing. Wow. 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 The past 3 months have been terrible, so I can't even. I can't either. All of the things other than his son aside, he caused a lot of the problems for himself. The grief about his son and the situation with his son, that is obviously not his fault. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone in the world ever. But the rest of the stuff he did to himself. Like the whole thing with the show and it not going well and whatever and all that jazz, that's his own fault. You know, he's caused a lot of problems for a lot of people. The personal life situations, that I don't wish on anyone. Having your personal life and professional life down simultaneously, actually, I do too. That's what I'm saying. I've never actually felt bad for Weber before, but I actually genuinely do right now. Like, this is the first time that I've actually genuinely felt bad for the man. Wow. Wow. Huh. The more you know, right? It feels weird. It will be the first time in my entire life that his name is not on a marquee. He's not Sondheim where he can be reimagined 7 Ways to Sunday. Literally. We do have Broadway chat live sometimes, you know, when I make flowers and whatnot. Every day in my life is a Broadway chat. You guys don't see it. You are very German. I'm very German. I'm so not German. It's funny. Like, it's almost hilarious how un-German I am. We've had the DNA test done. Everyone, like, oh, you want to be racist. Bro, not a good look. His shows are gimmicks, basic. Yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar could do it. And Joseph is, I think, maybe his best bet at this, but I don't know what he's going to do. This will be the first time in my entire life that Andrew Lloyd Webber would not have his name on a marquee. I don't know what to do with that mentally. If he takes it down, that's going to be like, that's wild. Y'all, just so you know, my sister is literally in mourning over Phantom. My non-Broadway sister has been texting me like every day for the last week with like tears about, and obviously she's emotional because she's pregnant, but like she's like legitimately sad about Phantom. She's like way sad, you guys. They fired their marketing team. Well, no wonder they haven't responded to me. I guess maybe it is time for me to make that bad Cinderella video. I'm your bad Cinderella, and here is some slime for you. I've seen Phantom 3 times, I think. Bad Slimerella. Well, she's a non-Broadway sister. That's why she doesn't know better. She doesn't know better. She should know better. We were raised to know better. My mom is a Sondheim. My mom raised us in a Sondheim household. So I don't know how my sister fell so far from the tree, because my mom's first professional production when she was a young adult was Company. Like, my mom is a Sondheim girly. It's not a bad show. It's just so paper thin. Interesting. It's an interesting thought. Wow. Yeah, I don't know how my sister just like veered off to Andrew Lloyd Webber land. Hey, Kelly. Because we are a Sondheim household. We are. It's how we were raised. I would love a chamber version of Phantom with no ensemble, just the principals and the deaths. But like how though, right? I was talking to someone about this yesterday, actually. You should take your mom to Company next year when it comes to Pantages. I probably will. She did it in LA in the 70s. Your parents aren't Sondheim people. You're gonna have to talk to them about that. I wonder, Brian, though, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, about a pared down version of Phantom and how, so you're just talking just leads and just the really serious kind of moments. No spectacle at all. No chandelier, no ensemble, no shows. Sondheim is a musical theater composer who is generally considered to be one of the greatest writers of the 20th century, and also usually draws a pretty hard line in the sand, both with audiences and critics. More often than not, you fall into one of two camps. Not always, but usually you're either the type who likes the big spectacle type shows that Andrew Lloyd Webber puts on, or you like the smaller, more introspective type shows that Sondheim writes. I'm for spectacle, mass production, but only 12-person creative casting, horror, massive show, empty stage. You're talking like Patti LuPone, Sweeney Todd style. You don't have to feel stupid when you ask questions. Not everybody knows who things are. Listen, just because there's a couple of us in here who are talking shop doesn't mean that everyone knows what we're talking about. I don't have a problem with people who don't know. We're not gatekeeping Broadway. Come on, join us. I'm even happy to give you recommendations of my favorite things. Shelly and I. Brian, did you get tickets to Merrily? Shelly and I are going in October. Brian, when I come into town to see Merrily, we should get lunch or dinner before the show. No, like the big production in terms of design, but no ensemble, just give it a cold feeling. Oh, interesting. That's cool. I like that. I'm interested in this. This sounds interesting. Okay, so you want the whole thing and then have hardly any people there so it feels really freaking creepy. I get you. I hear it. I'm into this. I'm interested. Okay. You know? I'm not against it. Here's the thing that I will say about Phantom from my personal perspective, and this is not, yes, play up the horror and give a reason. yeah. I have always thought that the script to Phantom was the main problem, if we're being honest. And this is, a lot of people who I talk to in my personal life, when I always feel weird saying, a lot of people always ask me, because people think you mean like people online. I mean like my actual like real life people ask me all the time. So like my regular friends and people that I've worked with considerably always ask me why I care so much about the script if I'm generally a musician first, which I am. But I also am a writer, right? And so I look at things like that and I'm like, man, these lines are hard. And I will tell you, when I went to see it with Sierra Boggess and Norm Lewis and saw Norm Lewis as the Phantom, the reason I went is because, hello, we love Norm Lewis, right? Like, and I also love Sierra, but like Norm, right? Went for Norm. And seeing Norm Lewis play the Phantom, and I said to myself and my friend who I was there with after we left the show, obviously I don't talk about these things inside the theater, I'm superstitious and I also am not rude, but after we left the show, I was like, if Norm Lewis can't even pull off these lines, then this script is poorly written. Yeah, let's definitely grab lunch or drinks before the show, for sure, Brian. I'm going to be in town for my brother's wedding. They're getting married near Philly, but I'm going to go see shows beforehand. But if even Norm Lewis can't make these lines land, then they're not well written, right? Like Norm Lewis should be able to talk the alphabet, and we should believe it. With that voice, the gravitas that he has, I should think that the alphabet is genius. The alphabet is kind of genius, but you know what I'm saying, right? And there were some lines in Phantom that were even cringe coming out of the mouth of the god that is Norm Lewis. The script is so threadbare, the accommodations expected. It is absolutely the opposite of Wicked. Absolutely. Which is so weird. So weird, because you'd think that they're in the same category. They are not. People want to talk crappity craps on Wicked all the time, and I was one of those crappity craps on Wicked until I worked on it. But working in the guts of Wicked, I was like, man, this show is so good. Like, it's so much more thought out than Phantom could ever be. Yes. I agree. I don't even care about those parts of Wicked. It doesn't bother me. I'll love it till the day I die. I'm biased though. Wow. I also love Wicked. I didn't used to, but I do now. Second Wicked is a mess, but the first act is perfect. I agree. It gets a little hinky, but like it works anyway, right? Like the second act gets a little messy, but people just don't care, and it's not bad enough to be a problem. Like, okay. Question for the masses, for everybody. Do we think that Chicago will close and Wicked will bump into longest running show? Oh, wait, we still have Lion King. Wait, never mind. Forget I even said it. We still have Lion King to get through, and Lion King's never going to close. Never mind. Yeah. Brian, I see your comment now. There's a delay. I said that to myself right as you were typing it, I assume. Never mind. I don't think Chicago will close super soon, but definitely before Lion King. Yeah, Chicago will close before Lion King. Lion King will never close. Wicked will close before Lion King. I legitimately think I will die. I will close before Lion King. And I intend to live to 104. I will close before Lion King. Yeah. Wow. My brain. The Whistler estate will slowly go funding Chicago to 36 years. You think so? I mean, they're doing better now. I will close before Lion King. I don't have anyone who wants to see Lion King. Oh my gosh, Lion King is phenomenal. One of the best things that Lion King, I'm sorry. Lion King is incomparable to so much. It lives in a class of its own. You know what I mean? Like it's just there's really nothing to compare Lion King to. It's too all-encompassing. It's too good. It's too emotional. Are we talking about musicals? If so, there's a musical that's underrated. It's called Something Rotten. You know what? Something Rotten actually isn't that underrated, believe it or not. They have no need for money, unlike Macintosh and Julia Ware, who were young with success. Yeah, that's true. They don't need anything. You want to start a Broadway obsession, start with Lion King. It's a good place to start a kid, that's for sure. It's probably going to be the first show that I take Zoe to. I've only ever seen 3 important ones, Hamilton, Phantom, and Wicked. I don't know if I would call that the 3 most important ones, but those are definitely 3 big ones. I think it's important to have a clarification between important and big. I guess you could say that they're important in that they've been culturally relevant outside of the theater. I'll give you that. I would travel to New York to see it. I have them on Instagram and FOMO about seeing it. Yeah, that's fair. It's one of your dad's favorite shows. Yeah, Something Rotten. Something Rotten is a very funny show. Something Rotten is a very funny show. I love Christian Borle so much. Chef's kiss to Christian Borle. My kids loved Lion King. We're going to see it again when it's here next year. Yeah, I think if it's here in town when Zoe turns 5, I'll take her. And if not, I'll take her when she's like 8 to New York. I always love people calling Hamilton a mega musical because of the prestige. Yeah. Something Rotten is funny and the other theater references are epic. When I saw the opening night of Something Rotten, the standing ovation for It's a Musical went on for 5 full minutes. I'd love to see any Broadway show that I've never been. Rochelle, when you guys come into town here, we'll go to the Pantages and we'll see something in LA. We'll do that as a part of our like Disney beach whole thing. It was 5 full minutes of a standing ovation because the song and the scene for It's a Musical is one of the most genius love letters to Broadway that's ever existed. Excuse me, Shelly, you cannot have Rochelle. She's coming to California before she goes to New York. I'm so sorry. My family has to come visit me first because you're not in a throuple if your couple doesn't visit you. Going to New York next week, which Broadway show would you recommend? I've never seen one. If you've never seen any show and you don't have any knowledge ahead of going in, I would pick either Wicked or Lion King if you don't know anything. Somewhere roommate Superstan who was there either. Oh God, no, I'm sorry about that, Brian. Shucked, Some Like It Hot. Yeah, Shucked and Some Like It Hot are good, but if you don't know anything about theater, going straight in on that when you've never seen anything else feels a little hinky. Like, I always tell brand new people to either go to Wicked or Lion King in an effort to bring them in to the fold, because those are really easily accessible mentally. If you're not a theater person. And I feel like Wicked's price point's getting better as they age, don't you think? Or do you feel like I'm crazy saying that? Hot take, I think Cursed Child should close now that it's one part. I think it's crap as one part. I didn't say that in my videos because they gave me tickets and I didn't want to look a gift horse in the mouth because my tickets were free. And so I didn't want to be like, my brother and I went, and if any of you saw the videos that my brother and I made when we were at Cursed Child, we didn't lie about what we thought about the show. Better to buy tickets beforehand or wait in line same day. Buy tickets beforehand. I haven't seen the updated Cursed Child, but the second part was amazing. I would not see the updated Cursed Child, Shelley, if you had to pay for it. I went to the updated Cursed Child on press tickets, and if I had paid for those, I would have been really, really disappointed. I saw it when it was 2 parts twice, and it was phenomenal, and I loved every minute of it. Seeing it as one part was so incredibly disappointing, and I took my brother, today what? Today what, Brian? Today in all caps? Today what? I was shocked the Hamilton prices here. Oh, Hamilton prices will never shock me. Although I saw Hamilton for $10. There was a wild season, though, with Cursed Child, Angels in America. That was a wild season with Cursed Child and Angels in America. I saw both. Both were phenomenal for totally different reasons. I think that what happened was when they retooled Cursed Child to be one part, the direction got so screwed up in them rolling through too quickly that everything got lost in translation, literally everything. And it's a giant mess. And my brother, who doesn't know anything about Harry Potter, was so confused. He was like, what am I watching? I saw Hamilton for free, 1 tickets here in Arizona. Nice. That's excellent. It's always nice to win tickets. It's always nice to win tickets. Hamilton doesn't need money, so they can do that. They can do that. They can afford it. Thoughts on the Wiz revival and pre-Broadway opening in LA? I haven't seen the new one. I'm sure it'll be fine. People will go. It'll run for a minute, and then it won't, you know. You should see it. I mean, everything is worth seeing at least once. I paid too much to see Hamilton early on after trying Lottery Rush at the Public. Yeah, I would not see Cursed Child as one part. If I had never seen I would not recommend Cursed Child to when it was 2 parts. I recommended it to everyone who was a fan of that kind of stuff, and even people who don't like Harry Potter. I was like, it's so good, everyone should see it. It's such a phenomenal production. And then once I saw it as one part, I was like, nobody should see this. This is a piece of trash. Which I think is why they started inviting people back to see it again, because they wanted us to. If you are a Harry Potter fan, I do not recommend seeing it as one part. It is very messy. It's a part of my season tickets, so I will, but the MJ show is the one I'm looking forward to most next season. Yeah, definitely let me know. I've been thinking about getting season tickets to the Pantages just to make sure that I stay on the up and up. you know? Wow. What a world. What time is it? We got totally derailed from reading because this was such an interesting discussion. That's good to know. I'd like to see some shows when I move to San Diego. Yeah, it's a little far. I've refused to see MJ because I can't support his estate. I know, I have a hard line with that too. I've been not sure what to do. I haven't seen it in one part, but it feels like the theme park show. The problem they can't promote their Tony wins. I don't know. It did not feel like a theme park show to me, Brian. It felt like an absolute mess. I have seen so many theme park shows that are way better than what I saw in the one part. I'm not even kidding you. I need to look into musicals here in Sacramento. A lot of musicals used to do their out of towns in Sacramento. I don't think they do so much anymore. You used to be able to. Legally Blonde did. Yeah. Wicked did. Yeah, I can't seem to support MJ, unfortunately. I know. It's really difficult. I have such a hard time because I've loved his music for so much of my life, but knowing what we know, like, what do you do with that mentally? But like, you have to retrain your brain to not jam. It's so hard. It's so hard to retrain those pathways in your brain. Makes you kind of sad because I know the cast is working so hard. They are. Make season tickets affordable there. You can break it down to 9 monthly payments. Yeah, I'll probably do that. It purposely glosses over that from my understanding. Okay, I mean, that would be really interesting, right? Wouldn't it be interesting if they actually addressed it? I wonder what that would do. If they actually addressed it. Okay, an R. Kelly musical? Shelley, come on. R. Kelly is so much worse. Like, I know we can't compare SA people, but MJ is making bank. They aren't hurting because of me. No, they're not hurting because of us. But it's not comparable. He was a completely different kind of mentally ill. I think they're both like problematic, both. But R. Kelly was an adult with the wherewithal to make those decisions. And I really, truly believe that MJ was mentally stunted and ill. Did he do terrible things? Absolutely, he did terrible things, and I will not excuse those terrible things. But I think his child abuse, the abuse that he went through as a child stunted his growth. I fully believe that, and I don't think anyone could ever convince me otherwise. I don't think he was doing it maliciously. If it was focusing on his childhood and the abuse he faced, I'd be more willing to see it. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think that R. Kelly was a completely different kind of monster. Completely different kind of monster. Way worse. But I mean, in terms of making a show about them and not addressing it, I guess, but I think that R. Kelly purposefully did it. And I think that also, no matter what we believe now that we know these things about what Michael did, and they are horrible. I'm not excusing anything that he did. I would never excuse child abuse by any means. There's no excuse for it, no matter what you've gone through, and people should have been watching those kids better. But I do believe that Michael's impact on the music world was so much more significant than R. Kelly's anyway. R. Kelly is not the musical genius that MJ was. I just wish the Britney musical was a lucky fable about 2007. I also wish that the Britney musical was a lucky fable musical. I also wish that. I wish so many things like that. That would be so great. Oh my God. I don't think... I have a hard time even... I know, I just mean the idea of making a show about someone who did those acts and glossing over it. I know what you're saying. I just don't think... I can't in my mind compare the two. I genuinely believe that if Michael had lived and gone through some things that... There's no excusing what he did, but I think that he would have tried to atone because I don't think he knew. I don't think he got it. I don't think he understood. And that doesn't excuse it. Again, I'm just saying, I don't think it excuses what he did, but I really don't think he got it. Based on the description from the victims of the way that he talked about things, it sounds like a person with a problem, you know? Like a big problem up here. Like normal people don't think and talk like that. Poor thing. I feel for everyone in that scenario. There's no winners. There's no winners in that. Abuse does weird things to your brain. It does. It's so weird. And there's no excusing it. Again, I will say there is no excusing what he did to those children. But also, where were your parents? I will die Yeah, exactly, Christina. Exactly. There's no excuse, but you're like, oh, he had problems. But also, I will die on the hill of where were your parents? Motown did address it better. I know. Isn't that weird? Motown was pretty good though. I got to give a little credit to Motown. I liked Motown. I took my aunt to Motown, who actually was at that the like big breakout performance of what's her name in real life here in LA. We went and saw it and she was like, I was there for real. That was a really cute moment. We had a good time there. I will die on the hill that the parents could have prevented Michael's abuse. I will die on that hill. You will never get me to back down on that. Like, where were the parents? What were they doing? Why would you let a child of yours have a sleepover with a man or any adult that is not your family member? And even then, sometimes it goes badly. Like, what were you thinking? Doesn't matter how much money someone has. You did this to your child too. They're just as culpable as Michael, in my opinion. I will never, ever let down. It doesn't matter that they were paid. Oh, yeah. We blame him too. But what I'm talking about the parents of the children that Michael S.A.'d. They are 100% as equal to blame as Michael, in my opinion. I will never back down on that point. When Zoe's not even my child, she's my niece. And the idea that I would let her out of my sight for a blink of a second, you could not get me to literally even take my eyeballs off that child, let alone let someone take her into a private room. Yeah, right. Yeah, freaking right. It would never happen. Like, I'm going to tell you something. There was a time when Zoe got injured recently, and not recently, like a couple of months ago. And yeah, exactly. And that was publicly. And my sister was too pregnant to go into the x-ray room with Zoe to get her arm x-rayed. She was fine. It was literally nothing. Like, literally, it was actually nothing. But we thought that it was something, so we took her to the hospital because we were concerned. And the nurses were like, well, we can just take her to get x-rayed, and you guys can sit out here. And I was like, never in a million years I am going into the x-ray machine with my niece. Like, there is absolutely no world where I was going to let that child, even with a doctor, go into a room without me. I was like 100, because Catherine couldn't go in because she was too pregnant to go into the x-ray machine. I was like, I will get the x-ray poisoning. You poison me before you send that child in there alone. Like, I was like, absolutely not. I will hold this baby through the x-ray. And they were like, we can just do it without you. I was like, you will not. I don't care how many of you are in that room. You're not going in there without me with this baby. You know what I mean? So, like, it doesn't matter. There's no amount of money you could pay me to let her in a room alone. It's just not gonna. So, like, there's something wrong with them. Like, I acknowledge that Michael was a child. He feared it all because of, yeah, I agree. The fact that Janet is semi-normal is a miracle. It's absolutely a miracle. The fact that any of them are semi-normal. Have you ever seen that, like, whole wife swap thing with his brother? Yeah, so Michael is to blame, and the parents are equally to blame. And I will die on that hill. You do not let your child out of your sight, and you do not let your child sleep over with a stranger. I'm sorry, you just don't. You just don't. And this conversation got completely derailed because I obviously feel very passionate about saving children and, like, protecting them. Which, I mean, is kind of hilarious. For me, it's going to be a nah for me, dog. Seriously. It's hilarious to hear me say it because so many people have left their children with me because I was a nanny, and so a lot of people left their kids overnight with me. But I was there as their caregiver and not a stranger, and also never, ever slept in the same room as them or anything like that. Like, I would stay in a completely separate room, things like that. Like, there's just lines you don't cross, You put the baby in the crib and then you leave the room. I first brought up right? Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, anyway, this went off the rails in the best way, but I really feel like if he announced today the bad Cinderella thing, dude, so many people have just randomly left their children with me as well. Freaking same. It's honestly why I love Kimberly Kimmel so much, because it shows trauma does to me. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why people got so attached to Next to Normal, right?
You know what I mean? I think that's why we all attached to it, because we were all mentally there already and we were waiting for that conversation. It was ripe for the time. It was the age group of people who were just trying to break that down for ourselves for the first time. And we hadn't really seen that reflected back at us yet. You know? I don't know. So I need to make a bad Cinderella slime tutorial. How am I going to do it? Kimberly is a comedic sequel take on Next to Normal. I love them both. Yeah. Next to Normal is actually my brother's favorite show, which I always find to be really interesting. Superboy and the Invisible Girl hits real hard. What is Bad Cinderella? Bad Cinderella is the only currently running Andrew Lloyd Webber show on Broadway. It's weird to say. It's weird. Wow. It's been my ringtone and wallpaper for 14 years. Yep. What do you have? What is your ringtone and what is your wallpaper? Tell us everything, Brian. Just make a really bad slime. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I'm your bad slimerella. I'm alive in the marquee image. Nice. I love Next to Normal. It's definitely in my top 7 with spray can inserts. Ooh. Miss the slime update? What slime update? Make it super awkward and terrible acting and make sure no one can understand what is saying. Wait, you guys, seriously, what if I go into my garage and put some slime on the floor of the garage and spray paint it? Is that too far? Have I gone too far? Like, what if I make a slime for the slime tutorial and then throw it on the floor of a thing in the garage and spray paint, secretly actually, frozen slime? And like spray paint bad on top of the slime. Like, this is bad slime. Oh, look, I took a shower yesterday and it didn't matter. This glitter from Zoe is still on me. I'm not your slimer. I'm your bad slimer. Oh my God. Make frozen slime and then spray paint it. That is funny. I mean, you know what would be worse? A little bit of a dig. Be a little bit of a dig if I made a phantom slime and then spray painted it. That's too mean, right? That's too far. I've made a phantom slime before. I like made the mask out of clay and smushed it with a rose. It's Frozen dress on Broadway for some weird reason. Yeah. It really is. That's too mean. He's going through too much. I can't do that. Oh, man. Yeah, I once made pink slime with black spray paint. Yeah. I don't know if I have black spray paint. I definitely have pink spray paint. He might see it. You don't know. You don't know what this man does. He crazy. His son was ill and passed away, unfortunately. That's not funny. That's not a joke. I'll make jokes about Andrew Lloyd Webber's shows from here to doomsday, but I will not make jokes about the whole situation with his son is actually genuinely heartbreaking. Amanda. He talks about Phantom in the third person. I know he is. He's a little bit beep boop beep. Oh, so sad. I didn't know. I know. It just happened recently, like really, really recently. Not even Lynn did that about Usnavi. I know. And Lynn actually is Usnavi. That's what makes it funny. Lynn actually is Usnavi. Like, so he could talk about it that way and we wouldn't think it was weird. We'd be like, yeah, it's a little autobiographical. Yeah, just a little bit, Yeah, no. I mean, well, Lynn is like half Nina, half Usnavi, right? Like, we all know that. But still. But yeah, not even Lynn does that. Yeah. Am I the only one that saw Lynn in, and Sondheim didn't about Bobby, R.I.P. Am I the only one who saw Lynn in Merrily? I'm worried about seeing the new Merrily only because I loved Lynn's Merrily so much that I'm worried that like it's gonna mess with it for me. I hope I won't care and I hope I'll love both. But I don't know. I love the new cast obviously as well, so. I saw it 3 times. That's how much I loved it. And Sondheim could about Bobby as well. And I don't think anyone... That's the funny thing. Daniel Eifert is good. It's not like either vocal powerhouses. Yeah. That's true. They're not. They're both actors first. For sure. And Daniel's a great actor. I actually genuinely believe that. And a good person, too. Didn't it only have 6 performances? It did. I just went a lot. And somewhere in the recesses of all my stuff is actually an audio bootleg of the second showing that I went to. I also saw him in Tick, Tick, Boom twice. Can't remember. I have an audio of that as well. Somewhere. Y'all, in my youth, I used to audio bootleg literally everything that I saw. So somewhere in the recesses of old computers are a treasure trove. I just found out everyone does that but me. Yeah, I haven't in many years, but I used to. The treasure trove, like you guys, I started audio bootlegging stuff before iPhones existed. So some of the audios that I have are, I would tamper my reactions on purpose. I would like cover my mouth so that I wouldn't be on the audio, but occasionally you can hear me. I had, those little cameras that were silver, like little pocket camera Canons that they had back in the day? I used to have one of those and I kept it in my pocket at Rent. And anytime a new understudy went on for a role that they hadn't been on for before in Rent, I would record their songs every single time that a new person was on. So somewhere there is, oh my gosh, it went around press circles. That's hilarious. Somewhere on my computers, there are audio bootlegs of every 2006 understudy of Rent ever. My dad is so aggressive about copyright stuff, so I never considered it. I mean, I didn't put them anywhere. They were for personal use and trades, because on LiveJournal, that's what we did back in the day. We traded bootlegs. If you had a bootleg that someone else wanted, you could trade them. That was like a whole thing. Was anyone else around when that happened, where you would have spreadsheets of all the bootlegs you had and then you would trade? I'm telling, Putzili. I worked in that world, so I never imagined it. They still trade on Tumblr. Yeah. We used to trade. That's so funny. I also have an out-of-town Legally Blonde and an out-of-town Little Mermaid from trades. Yeah. Okay, so I hear what you guys are saying about, I just tried to get them for free, not knowing it was a thing. Yeah, okay, but here's what so I hear Shelley and Brian are saying some really important things about how they worked in publishing and copyright issues, so they never considered bootlegging. But I'm going to tell you a story about why bootlegging might not be as bad as you think it is, as long as you're not doing any of it for profit, right? So one of my favorite shows ever did not have a very long life, and I audio bootlegged it multiple times, including the closing performance. And audio bootlegs are done from within your pocket or your bag, so it's not distracting. Like, you're not like holding the camera up or anything like that. I just did audios from within my pocket. And I'm not saying you thought you were against or anything, but this is a true story. And a lot of the fans of that show found out that I had a recording of the final performance, right? So the show was closed, it's over. And somebody told the composer slash book writer, she did both, of the show that I had this. And this composer reached out to me on Facebook and she said, I heard that you have a copy of the last show and I would like to have it. And I have an audio bootleg that I made of the first preview and I will trade you if you will give me the last one. And I was like, so like the author of the show reached out to me to ask for the bootleg and offered to trade hers with me. You know what I mean? So like, I was like, okay. And wait, didn't they record daily for archives? Not back. No. And and even the archive recordings, the authors don't get access to them. She didn't have it. So yeah, she didn't have that. And she and I are still Facebook friends to this day, all these years later. So you did record it and then you gave it to her. I had recorded it before she reached out to me. And then, yes, I did give it to her. And she and I are still friends and we still talk and comment on each other's posts whenever either of us posts on Facebook. I'm not going to mention the show in here, Shelly. I meant the sound people. Oh, I don't know if they did that back then. I'm not even sure. But either way, she did not have access to it because she was begging for mine. What year was it? 2008, 9? What year was it? 13 was on at the same time. What year was it? It wasn't 13, but 13 was playing at the same time. Yes, it was Broadway. Yes. Illegal Blonde. No. Legally Blonde does not have a female composer. Legally Blonde has a male composer. But anyway, yes. So sometimes audio bootlegs can be used for good. And in this case, it was used for good. She actually ended up inviting me to their CD release party as a result. And I was like, I don't belong here. It was before I had ever worked on any shows ever. I was just like a silly little random fan. I was like, why am I in this group of people? I don't belong in this room. I was a baby. I did not belong there. It was before Broadway Spotted. It was before everything. Yes, the worst of times. Exactly. You know what it is. Yes, Brian figured it out. But yeah, yeah. Yep. I did. Yep. I really did. Brian has my number. You guys, Brian, he has me down to a T. Brian doesn't F around. Listen, Brian, listen. I was a child and I will not be judged. I will not be judged. We all go through moments. Okay, I've actually have to get some work done. Have a good day, everyone. You too. I got to get some work done too. But this was a really fun and very informative discussion. I'm so sorry to Rochelle who came on today for book reading and we only read one chapter, but this was a really important discussion for us Broadway kids because, I don't know, it just felt important. I am going to go take Zoe to ballet and I will be on later to make slime. And I'm going to figure out what to do about Bad Cinderella. Brian, let's keep in touch about October, and we can definitely all get together. We can all get together in October when I'm in town, and maybe see a show, but definitely grab a drink or lunch or whatever. And maybe we'll live stream it, and we'll like talk about Broadway stuff in person outside of a theater. Because that was my life, and I miss that. I miss that part of my life just a smidgety-smidge. Living here in the suburbs is like weird. I was talking to someone about that last night. I was like, there's a hole in my heart where the shows used to be. It's a big hole. It's a big hole. I'm not yet adjusted to that part. It's only been a couple of months and I haven't adjusted well, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to start seeing shows in LA more. Definitely need to get work done today anyway. Yes. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.